Chào tất cả mọi người, mình là Dương Trần, mọi người có thể gọi mình là Zoe. Sau khi học tập, làm việc và sinh sống ở nước ngoài trong 3 năm vừa qua, mình đã nhận ra tấm bằng tiếng Anh không phải là tất cả. Mà điều quan trọng nhất có lẽ là cần phải nắm chắc ngôn ngữ một cách tự nhiên. Vậy nên mình muốn lập ra kênh này để giúp mọi người có thể học IELTS nói riêng và tiếng Anh nói chung một cách tự nhiên nhất. Và đặc biệt là có thể thực sự sử dụng nó trong cuộc sống hàng ngày cũng như là trong công việc. Mọi người có thể hỏi là tại sao mình lại là người giúp đỡ các bạn, đúng không? Về mình thì mình từng tham gia cuộc thi học sinh giỏi tiếng Anh quốc gia thời gian học cấp 3. Mình có đạt IELTS 8.5 và SAT 1510. Và hiện giờ thì mình đã sinh sống làm việc ở Singapore cộng với Úc được khoảng 3 năm rồi. Mình đã trải qua rất nhiều năm ôn luyện, học tập tiếng Anh cũng như là các bạn, trải qua rất là nhiều khó khăn và thậm chí là tốn vô cùng nhiều nước mắt. Vậy nên mình muốn lập ra kênh này và lập ra Talkodile để mình có thể chia sẻ với các bạn các cái bí quyết làm cho hành trình của các bạn trở nên suôn sẻ và dễ dàng hơn rất nhiều, không phải khóc lóc nhiều như mình. Ok, và để bắt đầu hành trình này một cách tự nhiên nhất thì mình xin phép được bắt đầu bằng việc nhỏ nhất đầu tiên, đó chính là chia sẻ những cái tips trong video này bằng tiếng Anh. Alright, now let's get started. Contrary to what you might be thinking, I was not born a natural English or language talent. So when I was in primary school, I never felt like I was smart enough. I was always the kid behind the smart kids, if that makes sense. And not until secondary school did my interest for English actually start to grow. And what I mean by interest here is seeing progress. So when I was in grade 8th or 9th, I remember I started doing a lot of practices for my reading and listening and writing skills, and I actually saw my scores in class increase over time. And that feeling of being able to achieve something, to seeing myself getting better, got me so addicted. So that's the beginning of everything. Fast forward until my high school, I finally made it to the national team, which competed for the national academic competition, right? So it was a lot of hard work, but you know what? No pain, no gain. And I actually got through it all. I finished all my national English competitions, got a few prizes, also self-studied for IELTS and SAT, and then finally got a scholarship to move to study abroad. And at that point in time, the 19-year-old me thought that, moving to a new country, studying abroad, that was like already the goal, that's it, like that's a big thing. But when I actually encountered and stepped into the international environment, I found myself at such a big loss. Like, I know that I know IELTS, I could speak English, but I still could not really participate in class. I couldn't hold natural conversations informally or make jokes with my native friends. I still feel it like kind of weird, awkward, and challenging for me to communicate naturally. So that was when I realized, okay, studying and being good at academic English is one thing, but being able to use the language might be a different thing. I know that IELTS is getting more and more popular these days in Vietnam and also in other foreign countries where people do not speak English as a mother tongue. And I've seen a lot of talented, qualified people out there sharing the tips, tricks, and whatever that you need to know to master the IELTS test. But for the purpose of this video, this is not a video about strategy where I will be sharing with you things such as vocabulary, grammar, sentence structure, how to pronounce, but it's more like a long-term, an overview video about how you can approach English and approach IELTS in a more natural and a more intuitive way so you can smoothen and fasten the process. The first point that I want to get across is everything is interrelated. What I mean by this is that in English, from a perspective of a learner or a foreigner who is not a native speaker, there are two types of skill sets that you need to master. So the first one is what I call passive skills. So passive skills are reading and listening. So in these skills, when you do the test or when you execute in your natural daily conversations, reading and speaking is you absorb the information and you try to comprehend it, versus the other one is active skills. Active skills is when you bring out what you've got in here to portray, to get your ideas across. And active skills, as you can guess, are speaking and writing. And as foreigners or as non-native speakers, especially for Vietnamese, we tend to be a little bit better on the passive skill side just because we do a lot of practices for reading and listening. So it's kind of just naturally easier for us to read and listen, but not so easy when we are put into an environment that we need to speak or we need to write, especially on non-traditional, like non-academic topics. Practical and effective way to combat this weakness is we can use our passive learning to enhance our active skills. What I mean by this is, for example, if this morning you just did an IELTS reading session or IELTS reading test, you will analyze, okay, these are the good phrases, the good words, the good collocations, and the good ideas in that passage I can use just to make a speech, just to use it in a writing that I created for myself, So you will try to use the language as naturally as possible. The second tip I've got here is more related to the actual IELTS exam. So if you prepare beforehand, make sure to know the strategy of each question type as well as what to study for your target score. Firstly, each question type might need a different approach. If you know how to read, analyze, identify, and find the answer for each type of question, it can save you a lot of time and get you into a more proactive and a more confident position during the exam. For example, if you are doing the question type of choose, false, not given, but you don't know how to analyze these type of texts right here, what can I find from the passage to match with that choose, false, not given, then in the exam you might not have enough time and you just feel a loop up, reading the questions and then reading the passage, and you cannot find the exact answer where it is located. Secondly, know what to study for or to aim for your target band score. If you aim to know everything and do everything, you might feel a strong sense of overwhelm, right? Because in the exam or just during the process of studying, you will not feel like you're good enough. You can never feel like you're good enough when you're studying a foreign language. There will always be someone else who can speak or write better than you are, but just know that, okay, this is my strategy. This is the type of questions reach my band score, which is 6.5. It can make things a lot less stressful and a lot more clear so you can get to where you want quickly. Imagine that now you are aiming for a 7.0 overall, but you are applying whatever strategies out there that are aimed for people who say that they've got 8.5, 8.0, they use this template, this sentence, or this vocabulary structure. You will very likely be unnatural in your writing, speaking, and just create a sense of confused for yourself when you are practicing or when you are doing the test. Anything I would like you to take away from watching this video is these 3 key points. The first one is approach English should be more natural and should be approached in a way that you can actually listen and speak the language in your daily life, not just on paper. The second point is that everything in English is interrelated, and that brings us to the third point. You can get whatever you've learned in your passive skill to implement your active skills. That is it for this video. I hope you do learn something from it, and if you do, please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below if you have any questions about IELTS, studying English, or moving abroad, because I'm very happy to share all of my experience with all of you in my upcoming videos. So stay tuned and I will see you soon. Bye!